Well, hello again, my friend. Welcome back. Wow, good to see you again. Welcome to Zach Treby's School of Drums. My name is Zach Treby, and I help musicians, preferably drummers, but not just drummers, build music careers that they could be happy with, specifically high-paying music careers. Okay, let me get comfortable here. Okay, so we're still on Anika, all right? I got to see Rush. Let me just rekindle my, hold on. Let me rekindle my microphone here. Because I'm trying to get comfortable. That's the key here. I'm trying to lay back and chill out. Here we are. All right, cool. Now I'm in a much better position. I can sit back a little and talk with you, right? All right, so Anika, I got to see Rush, right, on Sunday, the 23rd of August. And man, let me tell you, and Anika was just on fire, and it was really great because she, she's just this ball of light and ball of energy, right? And it was really great seeing the three of them just pouncing around the stage, except Anika. She couldn't pounce around the stage. So, man, let me tell you, she's come a long way, right, from her old days of YouTube and so this is going to be the second step that you can take to build a music career like Anika Nilles, okay? So in the first video, your first step, right, we talked about YouTube, right? And this is just a blueprint, okay? This is not the blueprint. There's so many ways to get to building a music career, right? We understand that. So let's take some time and talk about another step, right, that you can add, all right? And you can do this. You can do this. This has been done. And the reason why I say you can do this is because if you think you can't do this, then I want to challenge you, okay, friend? I want to challenge you. If you can't do this, right, if you're convinced whatever you're telling yourself, I'm too old, or I don't have what it takes, or that's not a real job. Well, if you've ever heard that from people, then why is it a thing? And what I mean by that is, why do musicians have jobs in the music industry? In other words, music careers. If it wasn't possible, right, for you, then why can people do it? Right? Why are there the Bon Jovis and the Springsteens and the Ozzy Osbournes and whoever? Just you can put your name there, or whatever name you want. Okay, so you can do this, right? If you're a drummer or a guitar player, it doesn't really matter. You don't even have to be a drummer, right? It doesn't matter. The point is you can do this, all right? If you take these steps, right? And this is just Anika Nilles here we're talking about, right? I haven't even gotten into everybody else, which I'm going to. I have a whole series on other bands, right? And the steps are still the same, right? Promotion, advertise yourself. It's not that difficult. And opportunities will present themselves, okay? It is not difficult. So anyway, let's get into the second step, right? So we talked about YouTube, okay? And it's a good idea if you can put together some kind of YouTube channel for yourself and start rocking and rolling, no matter what you're doing. If you're music education, or you're a songwriter, or you're a drummer wanting to get gigs, just start banging away and call the channel the outcome that you want. In other words, the gigging drummer. That will, listen, friend, that will perk up people's ears. No problem. Okay? So here we go. Speaking of gigs. So we covered YouTube. Here's the second step that Anika Nilles took, right, in building her music career. I'm going to read a little bit from Wikipedia, and then I'm going to stop. Here we go. In her career section, it says Nilles posted her first original compositions. We know about that, right? Wild Boy and Alter Ego, right, on YouTube. These and other music videos usually contain a visual recording of her drumming alongside previous recorded music. Great, we covered that. In such videos, she has historically cooperated with producer and guitarist Joachim Schneis. Great. Afterward, Nilles Nilles began acquiring work and viral attention outside of her native Germany, including tours of Europe. Hey, let's stop right there. Tours of Europe. Now, whether it's a tour or you're playing a bar gig or a cruise ship gig or a tribute gig or no matter whatever it is, a small regional tour, international. Listen, she was on tour with Jeff Beck, okay, and now she's on tour with Rush. Back in the day, and I've said this, right? When bands were on tour, right, one of the stops they would make is the like the shows, right, the late night shows and all that stuff. So that was your YouTube back then, right? So playing live was a thing, okay, and it always is, and it still is, and it will always be. So that is your second step you can use. So if you got your YouTube channel going, right, great, and then get out there and start playing. Now here's the great part about promotion and networking. We have iPhones or whatever cameras you would like to use. We have all this at our fingertips and at our disposal. Listen, document everything. If you're on a gig, document it and throw it up on YouTube in addition to your usual YouTube videos. I'm telling you, it is all eyes. That's what I'm trying to say here. This is nothing new, but people, for some reason, like musicians, here's the dumb musician. I'm going to explain him or her. The dumb musician just thinks, oh, my talent will take care of itself. First of all, that's a great way to get smacked upside the head and blindsided by people who are going to take advantage of you because you either refuse to understand the business side of things, or you just want to stay ignorant, right? And then good luck. Especially if you sign a record deal or something. Like, so if you don't have that, if you're a musician and you're like, nah, I'm just gonna focus on my talent, which is important, but I'm telling you right now, friend, you're in for a world of hurt. Okay, so I'm telling you how this goes. When it comes to a gigging music career or whatever you want, okay, whatever your choice of what you're going to do in the music industry is, because it doesn't need to be drumming either. But listen, it would be smart for you to understand. Now I'm going to say something, so write this down. Ready? A music career is the same as building a business. I'm going to repeat that just in case y'all ain't listening. Here we go, y'all. A music career is a business. It's building a business. If you don't advertise, let's take WWE for example. If WWE never got on television, never advertised, right? Back in the day when it was WWF, right? Guess what? Nobody would know who they are. Maybe a few, but if you don't get in front of eyes, you ain't growing. And that's the reality. And guess what? If you do get in front of eyes, guess what? The opportunities come. It's not that difficult. Don't let it get difficult in your brain. Just keep it simple, friend. I'm telling you. Look, so those two steps, let's keep it simple. Here we go. So we have YouTube, like I talked about in my last video, right? If you haven't checked that out, go for it. Then the second step is playing live, okay? So what did Anika do? So she must have, because she did clinic tours, right? She must have brought her music on tour, okay? I don't know at first if it was with a band. It might have been. I don't really know. Maybe someone could point that out, but I'm not reading the whole Wikipedia page right now, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just kind of explaining the steps in its simplicity, right? And it was in the United States and China, right, in 2015. Now, of course, she did small, like a little I think somewhere it says she did like a little, because that's like fast forward. But she did like a 6-date or tour, whatever, something like that, like in her early days. So she brought it on the road, which is good, and that's part of this, right? You got to understand, you got to get in front of eyes, right? Let's take simple businesses to compare, okay? So let's say you do all this stuff. If you take businesses like Netflix or Disney Plus or WWE, Prime Video, what do? Well, they get in front of eyes, right? Clearly, that's a straight eye thing, right? Those channels or streaming services, platforms. And by the way, it's a platform, and all that is a stage, okay? That's what a stage is a platform. There's your physical stage, which is on stage, like I saw Rush in Philly, and then there's a digital stage, which is YouTube, or back then it was it was TV. Now I don't know if I don't know if you'd call that analog back in the day. Maybe I'm gonna call it digital. That's what I'm gonna call it. So I could be wrong, but someone could correct me at some point. But anyway, the point is, it's all eyes, and if you can wrap your brain around that, and if this gives you motivation to do something about that, please, I'm begging you, friend, just keep it simple. Put a YouTube channel together. Start releasing videos. Start playing live and documenting playing your gigs. I'm telling you, you do that on a regular. I'm telling you. And by the way, you don't have to. Oh my God, you don't have to go nuts. One video a week on YouTube is perfect. 1 gig a week, and playing with a band and documenting it is perfect, because you can cut all those videos, right? That one big video that you record with your gig, you can cut those into like small little videos, and then you can kind of start to spread that out across a few weeks, right? Or however you decide to do it. But the point is document everything, because there's no reason why we shouldn't have output. Okay, and it's so easy at our fingertips. If you have a phone, and I've said this before, listen, if you don't have crazy equipment, start small. I mean, listen, with this podcast here, I just do it with a microphone and a small interface. Now, I have more than that, but I want to keep it simple so that I keep coming back and doing this. And, for me, it's got to be effortless. And you can get to the point where you run an effortless kind of career, right? You can. If you build it right, you will be just fine. By the way, this also includes, the second step includes like teaching, right? So if you because Anika back in the day, I think she still does, I'm not really sure. She if you looked at her website, that's another thing you should have, is a website, right? But we're not getting to that yet. I'm talking about gigging, right? Well, it's good to have a website. Just simple, even if it's a simple 1-page, maybe 2-page. You don't have to go crazy. So in other words, keep it simple. You don't need to clutter things with all kinds of garbage that nobody's gonna read. In other words, people want simplicity. That's what I'm telling you. So it will work, I promise you. But back in the day with Anika, on her website, I remember seeing her. She would advertise teaching, and I think it was like $97 for like a lesson or something like that. So again, those are eyes. And you know that when she was playing live, right? And, putting out YouTube videos at the same time, by the way, people will go to her website. I'm sure she always linked the website in her YouTubes, and especially live. She probably told people to go to her website. And then, she probably gets some students out of it. So in other words, it's an effortless machine, right? So to speak. It's like an engine, like you do this, and that happens. You know what I mean? It's like a little cycle, right? Perform, advertise, and then you get some opportunities. Usually that's how it works. And the cycle is really easy. It's not hard. It's actually stupid easy. It's way easier than you think. So that's the second step. And again, I'm going to tell you to keep it simple. Just go play somewhere. Even, what you can do? Let's say you're not even getting paid for a gig. Okay. Now, I don't recommend that. But if you must, just to get some video of you playing with a band, I'd say go for it. And then whoever hires you after that, when they see you playing with a band, hence marketing material for you, right? That's what that would be. So it's a little bit of like a portfolio. Then you could charge. You could say, this is my price for a gig. And I would challenge you to do that because it's not difficult. So look at that. 2 simple steps, right? YouTube, right? Great idea. Okay. And then playing live. Now, this is if you're a drummer, okay? Or a guitar player, whoever, that plays an instrument. Okay. Now, if you don't want to play live at other venues, you can also go the YouTube route and just start doing like I don't know, you can start doing a series like Concert from Home, or, and then you just perform in your studio. But you can do it like a tour. You can set up dates, and people can sign up for when your concert's going to be held, and then you go on at a specific time. I mean, you could really make a cool little thing if you wanted, of building a fan base. Or if you'd like to do that, you don't have to build a fan base. You can build a clientele. But my point is playing live. People want to see your skills. Okay. Now, obviously, we're talking about musicians here, right? Meaning that play or that want to play for a living. This might not talk about people who just want to do album reviews or be a music manager, but really I'm talking about musicians here. And you don't even have to be a drummer. That's the funny part. You can be a guitar player, a piano player, a keyboardist, a vocalist, and do this stuff that I'm talking about. All right. I might in the future. I'm not sure yet, but I've been kind of pondering on the idea of, instead of the gig ready drummer, I might actually parlay that into the gig ready musician, because this seems to kind of this is starting to scream a much bigger thing, right? Because it is clearly not just for drummers, right? Building a career. So who knows? I might change this one day into something that more people can jump on. I don't really know yet, but we'll see how many people I can help so far. Because me being a drummer, obviously I have a soft spot for drummers, so that's who I'm really trying to help, and that's kind of my thing. But for you musicians out there, okay, who aren't drummers, you can do the same thing I'm talking about. Okay, you don't have to be a drummer to do this. You're putting 2 and 2 together already. You understand this, okay? But so besides talking to my friend here, I'm telling the rest of you. Anyway, so keep it simple, okay? Build a career, right, on YouTube and playing live, and everything should go on YouTube. And you can have other things, if you want to do Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, go nuts. But just make sure that it's simple, and you can, don't spend don't spend all your time doing this. And I'll get into how to build a music career in 20 hours or less, which is a lot of fun. I think I'm going to stop there because I just want to keep this simple. And this is stuff that, and I'm gonna kind of shamelessly plug this in. So these steps are things I teach in my Gig Ready Drummer Challenges, which what that is a 5 multi-day online challenge that people can come to, and it's usually once a month. We're in the middle of one right now, and it's just very simple. Here's the blueprint of how to build a music career, and it helps a lot of people, right? So the next one's going to be in September. So if you'd like to sign up for that, right now the current one in August is closed because we're in the middle of it, okay? But you're more than welcome to sign up for the September one, or if you're not sure, because we get into detail into how to do all this stuff, even more detail than what I just shared, and people just are stunned how easy building a music career is. I mean, it's fantastic. A lot of these clients get really, really amped up. So anyway, so if you'd like to join in September, please, by all means. I also have my 12 highest paying gigs PDF that you can get by way of reaching out to me through email and asking for it, right? It's not one of those instant downloads, and the reason for that is because I want to connect with you, right? Just send me a message saying who you are, so I can say hello and meet someone else and have maybe another friend, because I've been saying this, and I'm going to repeat this ad nauseum until people get this. Relationships are all about people. Forget the leverage thing, right? Friendships, listen, I've been saying this, and I'm just going to repeat it. Without people, nothing happens. And I mean nothing, okay? Like nothing. No thing. So anyway, so if you want the 12 highest paying gigs and how to get them, please reach out. It's in the description below. And please, I want you to reach out. I want to know who you are. Just send me a message, and I'll give it to you for free. It's not a hard. Come on, guys. Also, if you'd like to book a video call with me, please. I can answer your questions. I would be more than happy to do that. Okay, and there's dates and times that you can do that. That fit my schedule because my time is limited, unfortunately. But that's okay. And they're updated weekly, right? So anyway, again, just to recap, the first step, YouTube, right? The second step is playing live, right? Whether you're playing live with a band or you're playing your own stuff in your studio and you're doing like a live stream, you can do that, okay? You can do that. It's available. Please, I would encourage you to do that because why not? Why not build a career, right? I mean, just the thought of that 9 to 5 drives me nuts. You know what I mean? Like, if people can have other jobs in the music industry and you love what you do, come on now. Like, but it is what it is, so just build your career and be happy. So anyway, I'm going to sign off, but we're going to get into the third step next week. Okay, and this is going to be great, right? Because we're basically going to just rip, this whole thing apart. The Wikipedia page of Anika, and there's other things I'll cover from other videos. Like there's things that Anika has said in interviews that I will totally jump on, and stuff like when she was discouraged, and then this is what she did, because we're human just like her. Anyway, so good friend. Great seeing you again, and please, if you want to reach out, there's a lot of links in the description, okay? But until next time.